there, and welcome to another edition of In the Huddle with Molly Miller, your weekly look inside Arizona State women's basketball. I'm Jeff Munn, and we will talk basketball with Coach Miller in a minute. First of all, we join you from Blanco Cocina y Cantina in Novus Place. We're here every Monday night to tape the show at 6, and we'd love for you to come and join us. Come to Blanco anytime because they have great Mexican food, great atmosphere. You'll really enjoy coming to Blanco. Right now, I know you'll enjoy hearing from the head coach of ASU women's basketball, Molly Miller. Let's try that again. Here's ASU women's basketball head coach, Molly Miller. That's better. Hi, Coach. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I think my body just now caught up with me from Cincinnati.
Yeah, long trip.
Yeah, it was. In general, what we're learning each game is, and I saw a ranking on this today, the Big 12 is, some might argue another conference is tougher. I wouldn't. I think the Big 12 has proven itself to be the toughest women's basketball conference in the country.
Yeah, I think top to bottom, it's any given night for any given team. We don't have a team that's undefeated. We've had teams at the top get knocked off, teams at the bottom. There's been a lot of parity, which is great. It's great for competition. We have the right group to respond to those situations. There's nobody that's out of our league that we can't hang with. And we saw that the past two games. You know, we were with the number 22 team in the nation up until the last 3 minutes. And even then, it came down to the wire, and some possessions were we felt good about. Last possession at Cincinnati, it came down to the wire. So we're right there. I think some adjustments. That doesn't define us. I think it clarifies us and who we need to be moving forward.
That's a comment I made to one of your assistant coaches, Daniel Barber, that this team is so tough and so resilient, and as you've mentioned many times, battles so hard for 40 minutes. And I think the Cincinnati game was evidence of that. They were behind, the Devils were behind on a couple of occasions, but kept fighting back. And I've seen instances with a whole lot of different teams in the past that if they're in that circumstance, they kind of go, maybe this isn't our day. But your team continues to just battle and battle and battle.
Yeah, I'll go to battle with that group any day. They've got a lot of heart. What happened was we played kind of ticked off in that first quarter, and I believe lost a little bit of that edge. And when they were making a run, we had good looks. We just weren't putting the ball in the basket to extend that lead. But, you know, if you're not hitting shots, you got to find a different way to impact the game, whether that's rebounding or getting after a defensive assignment, diving on the floor for a loose ball, getting those 50-50 balls, which we say are 100% ours. That's our motto. So we got to learn through those moments. And as cliched as it sounds, you don't lose, you learn. I hate losing. I'm one of the poorest losers there is. But you do have to reevaluate what happened in that moment and how do we prevent it from happening again. And our kids are really, really good about digesting film, taking feedback. I've always felt like they have an open ear and openness to making some changes. So we got better today, and the next game in front of us is what's important right now.
And the next game is Wednesday night. Now, the TV audience is seeing this on Wednesday. You're listening on radio on Tuesday. And the live audience, I just want to make certain they're paying attention. Wednesday night, we're playing the University of Arizona. How do you feel about that? This show's not on in Tucson, so we're okay. But Wednesday night, 6:30, there's going to be a whole lot of stuff going on in and around the game, too. And we'll talk more about that game coming up a little bit later on in the show. And we also have some special guests this week that are going to add to the fun of the first go-round of the Territorial Cup in women's basketball. You know, the other thing that I took out of the Cincinnati game, the first quarter, you start out in a press and create 9 turnovers. You get 20 games into a season, and teams have got film on you, and yet the way you play defense, it's still, there's teams that you can just look at them and they go, we don't quite know what to expect, and they get completely just thrown off their game. And that first quarter was a perfect example of it.
Yeah, how we play defensively, it's hard to replicate in a scout or practice. You can tell your scout guys play hard and trap, but they don't know really when to trap and how and what that looks like. So I think emulating that in real time is tough. And so when you play against us, it kind of like hits you in the face initially. Now, as the game goes on, I think they made some nice adjustments and they didn't turn the ball over as much. But that's when we have to ramp it up a little bit more, knowing that they're getting comfortable. So that first quarter, I thought we were a decisive team. I thought we were an aggressive team. I think that second quarter, we were a little more casual, a little more passive. We just got to figure out a different way to turn it up. That might be offensive rebounding.
Yeah.
It might be, spraying the basketball around and sharing it and make the defense work and making them tired that way. So there's just different ways that as the game moves along that we need to adjust to increase the intensity.
There was a little strategic part of the game Saturday. It didn't come necessarily into play, but the way you play defense, I'll explain what I'm talking about. You'd got in a 5-second inbound violation on them early in the ball game. Then late in the game, to avoid committing another one, Cincinnati had to burn a timeout. And I kept saying on the air, this might come back to haunt them. And maybe it didn't Saturday, but I could see a scenario somewhere before the season's over that kind of defense creating the 5-second inbound and teams trying to do whatever they can to avoid it is really going to pay off.
Yeah, well, that game specifically, but you kind of hit on it when you're talking about the conference as a whole. When you play any given team at any given night, the margin is so small for error. And we have to get our kids to understand that, like one missed block out or one uncontested layup that you miss or one errant pass, that can be the game. And you see that across the conference is just the margin of error is so slim. And that's what's kind of amazed me as I've gotten kind of halfway through this is there's so many detail moments that matter and you can't take for granted. So for us, that helps us. The more pressure we can put, if they have to burn out a timeout, then that could help us in the long run.
Yeah, and it's I just kept making a note of that during the fourth quarter. Wow, they had to burn a timeout. It might come back to haunt them. You got a strong weekend. I say weekend. It was Wednesday and Saturday from a number of players. Gabby, who just continues to just demonstrate the veteran experience, and she had a very strong weekend. McKenna had a strong weekend. There were a number of players, and it was their consistency that was really impressive.
Yeah, when this team has 3 or 4 or 5 players play well at the same time, that's when we're going to be really dangerous, and you haven't seen that yet. So, as we move along, there's value in each one of our players. I know probably consistently Gabby and Brackens has scored a lot of points for us. There's value there. Marley can guard 1 through 5, and when she's not lighting the box score up with points, she's defending and getting deflections. We kind of have point guard by committee right now. Elle had a 22-point game a few games ago, so there's value. I know when Elle fouled out or got in foul trouble at TCU, Martina came in and played phenomenally. So when we get clicking together and everyone's clicking at the same time, again, we haven't had that yet. So when we have, 5 players bringing their value at max level, and then we're going to be really, really, really good. So I'm excited for that. We just have value, and each player has different values, and I think they've accepted kind of their role. As you get into season, you figure out what you're good at, and you don't try to go outside of that right now. You really focus in and be good at the intangibles and what you can control, and our kids have been accepting of that, but every single one of them brings some sort of value, and we need everyone. I mean,
right.
We're a thin roster right now, so we need everyone.
And as you say, every team in this conference has not only talent but depth, and that's the challenge of playing in this league every night. One other little thing, and you just brought it up, and I'm so fortunate that I have a coach who has won a few games, and Maura McHugh sits next to me at home games. And she pointed out to me a number of years ago, one of those things I had never really considered. When you get a deflection and the ball's knocked out of bounds, yeah, the other team might keep it, but you look up and there's 13 seconds on the possession or 10 seconds. And she said the value that is you've taken them out of what they wanted to do offensively, even though they get to keep the ball. Your defense is very good at that.
Yeah, we want to disrupt, and then if they have to start over and do a do-over because they have to re-enter the ball, and now the shot clock's low, and you messed up the rhythm and the timing, and now the play has to go a little bit faster, then all those things get them a little bit antsy. And that's our job on the court, is just to make everything difficult, disrupt everything, try really, really, really hard to not let entry passes come, to understand the next play. One rebound is all you need to finish the play. Those little things matter, and deflections are a big, it doesn't show up on the box score because there's not a field for them.
Right.
But that's a big non-negotiable in our program, is you have to deflect, you have to defend, you have to disrupt.
Now, you do have members of your staff that keep track of those things, right?
Yeah. We have kind of a non-negotiable box score.
Yeah, I knew there was a term for it. And again, it's been a very impressive part of the way your team plays defense. I want to mention to our fans very quickly before we go to a break that not only is there the game Wednesday against the University of Arizona, thank you, another set of Wildcats is coming in Sunday, Kansas State, which may not produce the same amount of reaction from the crowd. Okay, that's very good. Sunday at 2 o'clock at Desert Financial Arena. And there's no football going on Sunday. So, I mean, you need to come down and join us because it'll be a lot more fun than sitting in front of the TV and watching something that's not football. We did mention the University of Arizona. Well, because it's Territorial Cup week, we've got some really special guests coming on, and I'm going to let Molly talk to them, and I'll just kind of sit here and enjoy it right along with you. And if that's enough to get you to stick around, great, we've done our job. And we'll be back with one of those special guests right after this break on the Sun Devil Radio Network.
Some games you remember forever. The ones where the arena shakes and the crowd feels like one heartbeat. Games where the noise takes over the building. And now, those games are here. With Big 12 Conference play, these aren't the games you watch later. They're the ones you have to be there for.
We do have a couple of surprise guests coming on a little bit later on. This is In the Huddle with Molly Miller. I'm Jeff Munn. But we do always feature members of the Sun Devil student-athlete playing roster with women's basketball on every show, and this week is no exception. So please welcome two of our outstanding guards. To my far right is freshman Amaya Williams. Now, I need to explain the introduction on the player to my immediate right. She has asked me on a number of occasions to simply identify her as Poa, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is Poa.
Thank you.
Yeah, are you thanking them or me?
Both.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Just wanted to make sure. First of all, welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to start. I've had both of you as guests on our radio pregame and asked you a number of questions that I'm probably going to repeat in some form here. But I'm going to start with Poa. You're getting a chance to bring to Arizona State the experience of having been with a national champion at LSU. And I'm certain that your teammates, they may not ask you a direct question like, what was it like? But I'm certain that they look to you for some advice related to being at a championship level.
Yeah, for sure. I think in the beginning, obviously there was a lot of questions, and I think I just told them there was a lot of discipline and sacrifices that came along with that. Obviously it wasn't exactly easy, but obviously that team was just a bunch of dogs, and we just did what we needed to do, and we all played our roles.
Exactly. Now, for the benefit of our fans, Poa's from Australia, and you told me that you came here when you were 18.
18, yep.
See, I remembered.
Good job.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can remember when she came here from Australia. And you have a lot of basketball heroes from Australia.
Yeah, I have a lot. Obviously, Penny Taylor's probably one of the main ones. Yes, I know. I love her. Obviously, she's the wife of Diana Taurasi, so I think just being brought up with her and gaining the experience at a young age at 15, just to be able to play with her and obviously learn from her, it's been great, and I think it's just like it's showing right now.
Absolutely. And Amaya, your freshman year from California, and when I talked to you for our pregame, we talked a lot about how much fun you were having, and I assume you are still having a lot of fun.
Yes, I am.
Great experience to be at Arizona State.
Definitely a fun school. I've been having a great time with my teammates and everyone, so yeah.
Yeah, and I hear that from everybody on this roster. Let's talk a little bit about basketball, and Amaya, I'll start with you. I mentioned when we talked a couple of weeks ago how impressed Maura McHugh, who does the games with me at home, and I have been with the mechanics of your jump shot. And you pointed out to me that that's something, obviously, you have to work on it.
Yeah.
And you've been working on it a lot with Associated Coach Jason Glover.
Yes, definitely. Before every practice, I work on that jump shot with him.
Yeah. And how many, would you say, how much time, could you put it into hours or?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just shooting.
And more shooting, yes.
Yeah, because it looks so effortless. I know there's a lot of effort, but it looks so smooth
Thank you.
on the floor. Is it, when you shoot, you kind of have to clear your mind and just say, go, right?
Probably, just go.
Yeah.
Hopefully you make it,
And it works out a lot of the time. Now, Poa, I've noticed in pretty much throughout the season, but especially in recent games, you really work to get your teammates involved.
Yes.
It isn't, I love your unselfishness. It isn't a matter of, gee, how many points did I score?
No.
It's how many assists did I have? How many rebounds did I get to start a fast break, to get into transition? And that's, I can tell you, that's a really impressive thing, that you're always trying to make certain that the other 4 players on the floor are involved with what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously being part of this team for a while, I'm just trying to gather to see, obviously we know our top 2 scorers is McKenna and Gabby. So obviously trying to get them the ball, and then obviously seeing who's got the hot hand in a mismatch. So I think just trying to run plays for them and just executing a lot of plays just so we can score.
Yeah, and the other thing that I've noticed too is that you play a very tough brand of basketball. It's not it's not overly tough or overly physical to the point where you're getting into foul trouble, but you make certain that whoever's defending you knows what they can and can't do when you're handling the ball.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that comes with experience. Obviously, knowing the scout is really important. Glove talks about that all the time, and coach. But I think just knuckling down on who's like a driver, who's a shooter. So I think just gaining that experience and telling my teammates and just communicating with them.
Yeah, you did have on Saturday at Cincinnati. You had an and one early in the ball game. It's a difficult balance, and I've talked about this with Marley on occasion. It's really hard to make the right decision. When is it the right time to shoot, and when is it the right time to distribute the ball? I talked about that with Gabby as well.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Obviously, you got to read your defender at first, but obviously, if it's not there, kick it on, and there might be a better shot.
And Amaya, I know that you're a shooter, but you also want to get your teammates involved.
Of course, being a point guard, you have to get your teammates involved all the time. And Glove always says be the floor general of the team, get everyone organized, and just keep the ball moving.
And if you have a good shot, take the good shot.
Always take the open shot.
Unless there's a great shot available somewhere else.
Exactly.
And Coach Miller talks about that a lot. We're going to pass up a good shot to get a great shot.
Yeah.
And
Always.
that's worked out more often than not this year. And again, for Amaya, the transition from high school to college can be a really challenging one. And I'm certain that there's been a lot of learning going on this first year.
Definitely. When I first got here, I couldn't keep one of the practice players in front of me at all. Their first step is crazy fast. I couldn't defend, but I've gotten a little bit better at it. Me and Molly talked about it today. Keeping people in front of me, giving some resistance, and just gotta keep on working on it, staying locked in on defense.
Now, Poa, growing up in Australia, the Europe, she did. That was a great answer, wasn't it?
Thanks.
Yeah. Growing up in Australia, the Australian basketball has always been really strong. Both the men's and the women's game. If you look at international competition, Australia has always been one of the top countries for basketball. But as we always say, I've mentioned this to Martina coming from Italy, the game is played differently in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Our shot clock is 24 seconds, so it's a lot quicker. The pace is a lot faster. They do focus more on IQ back home. We do break down a lot more plays and players over there, but obviously just the competition is way different. But over here, it's just more physical and athletic, so...
There are pro leagues in Australia too, right?
Yeah, for sure. WNBL is just right below WNBA, so It's right there.
Yeah, the funny thing is we see things on television here occasionally, mostly Aussie rules football.
Okay.
And right now, what we're seeing is the Australian Open.
Yeah.
And we don't see a lot of basketball, which is odd to me because, as you say, the quality of basketball is right there, especially in the women's side with the WNBA.
Sure. Yeah. Obviously, just like I said, it's just a different type of culture over there, and I think the basketball side is just different. But yeah, back home they focus more on football. The football is obviously different to here. But yeah, it's just different.
Yeah, it is different.
Yeah.
Amaya, when growing up, who were your basketball heroes?
I didn't have any like really main heroes, but I thought Kevin Durant was really good at basketball. Devin Booker was really good. People like that.
Devin Booker is pretty good at basketball.
Yeah.
We can all agree on that. Favorite players with the Mercury? Got to be Alyssa Thomas.
Yeah, definitely Alyssa Thomas.
Yeah, yeah. And then would that be do we make it unanimous?
I'm always just gonna go with my
say it,
Aussies.
yeah.
So yeah, Michelle Timms and Penny Taylor.
That's going back, and you and I talked about that when we did our interview. I mentioned the name Michelle Timms to you.
Yes.
And that's a part of not only it's Phoenix Mercury royalty.
Yeah.
Because she was in on the very first season of the WNBA in 1997.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing her at the 96 Olympics in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about somebody who made a lot of history.
Yeah.
And I'm certain in Australia that name still resonates with a lot of people.
She was my coach.
That's right. You told me that.
Yes.
She coached you.
Yeah, she did.
And
when I was in high school, she was my coach, and then she ended up leaving to come over here. So.
It doesn't surprise me that she went into coaching.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me either.
She was a leader on the floor as a player and definitely as a coach. So we're having fun.
Awesome.
Right?
Yes,
yes you are having fun, and we're going to keep having fun. You do understand that Wednesday, that's a really big deal, right?
Yes.
Yeah, come on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because we're playing the University of Arizona.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Good.
I need everyone there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We need everybody there cheering on Poa and Amaya Williams. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Amaya Williams, Poa. Can I say the full name?
You say the full name.
Last here, Poa.
There we go.
But Poa. And we're back with more of In the Huddle with Molly Miller after this break on the Sun Devil Radio Network.
Period. Thank you.
Thank you.
In the Big 12, it's up for grabs, and anybody can go and get it.
Who wouldn't want to watch this team play?
Tickets are on sale as we speak at thesundevils.com, and I wouldn't waste one more second. Get on the website right now and get them. Back on In the Huddle with Molly Miller, and we told you we have some special surprise guests. It's Territorial Cup week, and we're also going to do something a little different. I'm going to let Coach Miller handle the interview here with our special guest. She'll explain why. It's Territorial Cup week. It'll all be explained by Coach Miller, and I'm just going to kind of get out of the way. Coach, go right ahead. Introduce your guest.
No, this is fun for me because, well, sometimes I call him Wilbur, sometimes I call him Bloomy, but Willie Bloomquist, the Willie Bloomquist, is here joining us on the show, and I'm so excited. I've gotten to know a lot of the head coaches through, I think I've been here for like 10 months now, and the support that you guys have shown has been so incredible. And you're an alum, and you know this rivalry better than anyone else. So we can all agree rivalries are healthy, but honestly, how many days do you actively think about beating Arizona?
During the season, daily. Daily, and even though we're playing other teams, when that team's on the schedule, it's lurking there. And we're actually playing them 5 times this year. We added a couple of midweeks just because we couldn't get enough of playing them. So I'm excited to play against U of A. Every time that game is coming up, it just there's something in the back of your mind that it's getting close when they're coming to town.
Was it different as a player than a coach?
Yeah, it was. As a player, when you first have that experience of a rivalry game, and then it kind of hits you in the mouth, like, wow, this is a big deal. And then in my case, you have 25 years from being a player to when you come back here, just to stew on how special that rivalry was. And then you get a chance to go around too as a head coach, and now you're trying to instill that in your players that, man, this matters. It matters to a lot of people. I've been a fan of ASU obviously since the day I got here, and whatever sport it is, you just flat out hate the U of A, and you want to beat them. So it doesn't matter what sport it is, you just want to dominate them, and that doesn't go away.
Okay, so any advice for my first Arizona State, Arizona pregame locker room pep-up talk?
Oh boy, that's a good one. I think it's you try to walk the fine line of not putting too much pressure on your team, but also getting them to understand that this is a big deal. This matters, and especially in today's transfer world where people come from different rivalries. This one's different. This one matters a little bit more. People are obsessed with this rivalry. The history goes back a long way. I usually try to give our guys a little history lesson on why this rivalry is so hated. Back when we were Arizona, we were the Bulldogs, back in the day, and Arizona State College, and what they did to our football field, and how Frank Kush went down and dominated the hell out of them down there at their place, and the rivalry really got going. So try to give them a little history lesson as to why it is what it is, and then go out there and kick their ass.
I like that. All right, spirited history lesson, check. Okay, I want to, coach to coach here. I have my own terminology. You probably do too. It's just off the wall. If it sticks and the players grab the concepts, then I use it. And they call them Millieisms. So what is your most used Willieisms in terms of the players hear it all the time? They might be sick of it, but these are key phrases or terminology in your program.
Attention to detail, but that's kind of generic across all coaches. One of my favorites is you're this far from the top, this far from the bottom. Okay. To me that's you guys make the choice. Don't waste my time. If you're out here at pay attention to detail, don't waste my time. And I'll probably throw an expletive in there. But get off the field, do it right, or don't do it at all. Probably those are the big ones. Attention to detail, relentless. Stay relentless on everything. And then, like I said, this far from the top, this far from the bottom is always a good one for me. That's
awesome. What about when I think what I've seen is your teams and your players respond so much because you're always your genuine, authentic self. And you're always going to get who you are every single day, and no one's going to have to guess or wonder. Was that something, what's the biggest thing that coaching has taught you about the game that you didn't know as a player?
For me, the biggest thing is players see through it when you're not real. And you have to be yourself as a coach. That means sometimes you got to be a little vulnerable. You got to teach them about your background, why I am the way I am. And we had a long talk with my players, this fall. Hey, you're playing for a head coach that hates to lose more than I enjoy winning.
Next on that one, buddy.
And I had to, give them a reason why. And, I was a kid. We lost in a Little League game. I went to the car, and there was no car there. My dad left me at the field, and I had to walk home. And it was just, that was how it was. You win or you walk home, period. And so that's how I was raised. That's how I grew up. But understanding that the kids are different, of course. We have 40 of them, and some of them beat to a different drum than others. And that doesn't mean you want them all to conform to be a certain way and robots, but trying to get them to be the best they can be at who they are. And a lot of times that takes vulnerability as a head coach to be able to be real with them.
Do your players know how good you are, or do they just think you're the old washed up coach now?
Oh, they see me out there once in a while trying to still get it done, and they laugh at this stage of the game. A couple years ago, I could still do it, and now it's just, man, the last couple of years I've really gone downhill on my ability and agility level has just gone south.
Okay, well, who would win in a fight, player Willie or coach Willie?
I'm older and wiser. I have the old man strength. I think the coach Willie would get him.
All right, you guys do walk-up songs in baseball, right?
Yes.
So if you played today, what would your hype-up walk-up song be?
Oh, it still is. When I take the lineup card out, I still have
You do?
Sweet Child of Mine, Guns N'
know this.
Roses, baby. That's it. That was it when I was a player, and it's still now as a coach. It's Sweet Child of Mine.
Okay, so here's some insight. We had a golf tournament in Pine Top, and a bunch of the coaches were already there. Greg Powers got a little cabin. It was so cute. And I think I had a recruit, and you had a meeting, so we were going up late. And so we carpooled together, and we had our own little session of carpool karaoke. So Willie would pick a song, and then I would pick a song, and we go back and forth to pass the time. So did we ever? What's your favorite song to karaoke to?
Oh boy, there's some good ones out there, but I like country music, so probably Like a Cowboy is one of my favorite ones. I like that song. That's a good one. Journey, I can't get my voice that high, but Don't Stop Believing's a good one.
I think we did play that one.
Yeah, I mean, those are all those
we
are
were
good ones.
all over the board with like pop 2K, country,
Old
80s,
school rap.
old school rap.
We throw it all in there.
Yeah, that was a good time. Okay, so I love going to your games. It was actually one of the first kind of sporting events that I got to go to when I was here. But what do you want Sun Devil fans to know about where your program is headed? You've done an all-star, rock-star job in the portal. Like, I'm so excited to see the squad this year. How do you feel about where you're headed?
You know, we're excited. I think this team has a chance to do something special. Just from a standpoint of we are very deep. We have a great mix of older guys that we brought in. We had 9 kids drafted in the top 10 rounds last year that we lost, which was awesome for them. Great for the program. We had to refill them with a lot of experienced guys out of the portal, which we did. And then we have a lot of really good, talented freshmen that are nipping at the heels of these guys too. So we have a good mix of older guys, younger guys, a lot of arms that we're figuring out the role for a lot of these guys. But if this thing comes together, it could be a very special year for the Sun Devils. So I'm just super excited about it. And how these guys gel and mesh together as the season goes on is going to be, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, this is going to be a fun one.
Okay, let's get a recruiting blurb in there. Look in the camera. What makes ASU the place to play baseball?
What makes Arizona State the place to play baseball? First of all, you have a tradition and history like no other. College baseball's greatest tradition. We play in the heart of baseball. There's a reason why spring training is here in Phoenix, right? We have 16 spring training major league teams within a half-hour drive of us. We've got more draft picks in the history of college baseball than any other program in college history. We've had more major leaguers than any other program in college baseball history. We're number one in both of those. You have a coaching staff with a whole lot of experience on how to get to become the highest level in this game. We have the weather. We have the campus. We have tremendous academics. We have over 390 majors here at Arizona State University, so something for everybody. We're going to develop you and get you better. And most of all, we're a family here that's going to give you the best 4-year experience in your life.
Sign me up, Coach. Sign me up.
Said that a time or two, you know.
Jeff, how's it going? How are we doing?
You're great. I'm going to take off. I'll see y'all later. No, you're doing great. You've got 2 minutes.
Well, what do you think makes this so? I mean, I've obviously felt it, and I haven't even been here a year. But what makes us so close as a tight knit group as coaches?
Well, I think it's obviously the personalities, but we also want to help each other. At least the people that I've been around is you're eager to help somebody out. And if I always say this, if I could go back 4 years and know then what I know now, I'd be in such a better place than I am right now as a head coach. And it's our job when we have a new hire or a new coach to fill the new people in on, okay, here's what you can expect. Here's how we can help. And I think just there's a great network of head coaches here that our administration has put together that really cares, that is 2 feet in on Arizona State University. This isn't a stepping stone for another place. You know, for us, we are here. We're diehard. We're buttoning the chin strap, and we're locked into this place to get it to be the best it can.
Yeah, you're in one of my first lunches, actually right outside the patio in Blanco. You're like, hey, if you want the lay of the land, any recruiting tips or tricks, let me know. And I had like an hour on my schedule. I'm like, I'm actually free. He's like, I'll meet you at Blanco right now. I'll come to you. So that's just the kind of people we have around this athletics department. And I've been so grateful that you've shared with me and just given me an opportunity to, I mean, only coaches know what coaches go through too, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Whether it's sharing or venting, like we all have each other's back, and that's just really been a cool dynamic.
Yeah, it's been great. There's been a network of us. Obviously, all of us coaches are on a group thread, but there's a certain thread that we have with Coach Powers and Coach Bartlett and Coach Dillingham that we have. We like to give each other a hard time on stuff and keep it real, which is a lot of fun. But it's a great network of people and again, people that want to see Arizona State succeed.
Thanks for coming on the show.
You bet. Thanks
Appreciate
for having
you.
me. Appreciate you.
Willie Bloomquist, and now I'm going to use my 46 years of broadcast experience to put it to work and say we'll be back right after this on the Sun Devil Radio Network. Final segment of this week's edition of In the Huddle with Molly Miller. I'm Jeff Munn, another big-time special guest. If we run out of time at the end, let me do this now. For those of you on radio, tomorrow night, that school down south, pregame at 6, play-by-play at 6:30. Sunday, ASU and Kansas State at 2, and we've got a bobblehead giveaway on Sunday. Even more incentive for you to go to thesundevils.com and get tickets. Radio coverage starts at 1:30. I'm done. Coach, it's you from there.
Okay, we got GP now.
Let's go.
Greg
Let's go.
Powers.
I'll just turn my back to Jeff then. No.
Just you and
You're
I.
not the first person that's done that.
No, you too. I mean, Willie and I talked about just the camaraderie.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this guy texts me before every single game, after every single game. And you pay attention, and you're in your own season. I mean, the heart and selflessness, sometimes goofiness, I can appreciate.
Gotta keep things light.
I know. Why is it so important to you? You can just
Well,
tell.
every team here is important to me. I'm a very proud alum, and but basketball in particular is one of my loves. I'm from Indiana. I'm a Hoosier, way too small and too short to be good at it. So I took up hockey instead. But I love basketball. I love your team. I love how hard they play. I love everything that you're doing. They're fun to watch. They're contagious.
No, I appreciate that. I remember when I first got the job, you were telling me, basketball, I really love it. Can I come to a practice? I'm like, yes, can I come to your practice? So we kind of had that bond of competition right away. And so Arizona State does not play Arizona in hockey, correct?
No, we played them. So at the Division I level, we've only played them one time. It was an exhibition game 3 years ago, and we beat them 16-0. So,
as long as we won.
Yeah.
We're undefeated.
Yeah, we took a log off the fire. Could have been worse. I think Graham gave me a look like, hey, what, you know?
No, Graham's an
I'm just
alumni.
kidding.
He was
No,
probably
he
going
didn't.
more.
Yeah. But that's the one competition we had against them was an exhibition game.
So does it still? How does that vibe exist out? I mean, you feel it with all the athletes and being an alum. Describe it for me.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel it too, and I've been a part of it. Like, so U of A does have a very successful club hockey program. Prior to our NCAA area, that's what we were. So I played against U of A, I coached against U of A a ton, and I hate them just as much as anybody. So I'm on board for anything we can do to hammer them any chance we get in any sport.
Okay, same question. Any pregame talks that I should implement?
Yeah, I mean, what we used to say is like, and this is just being real because this is how people feel. When you play U of A, it is a separate season within your season. Like it's not a part of the season. It's different. It's elevated. It means more to everybody that supports us and supports this school and loves what we're all about. And for us, it's always a separate season within our season if we played them.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, question about. Well, you don't stay calm a lot. I have to show.
Yeah, I got in a
no
little
one
trouble
can
this weekend.
see this. No, this picture is hilarious. I guess I was a little animated on live TV when I was trying to call a timeout and a pivotal point, and they didn't give it to me. So I had an interaction.
Yep.
You were so good about like, Coach, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
And you sent me this picture. We'll have to show it. I'm going to have to show it. I'll get it on the... But for those of you that are listening, all I can describe this as, you're on the ledge of the... Do you call it a bench in hockey?
Yeah.
Okay. You're on the ledge of the bench, and you look like King Kong on top of the Empire State Building. We're not going to say what you said, But how do you stay calm, like, in the chaos? Like, hockey is basically organized chaos.
It is, yeah. It's hard. Honestly, for the most part, I am really calm on the bench. Like, I get criticized for being too calm. That's a picture of when our first-round draft pick got hit 2 weeks ago, and we thought it was a cheap hit and it should have been called, and he's out for the season. So I was a little emotional losing your first-round draft pick to a dirty hit, and that's the result. But yeah, I mean, it's an emotional sport, just like everything else is, but it's physical, it's passionate, and fast, and things happen.
Would you, as a player, have survived one of your practices today?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're difficult, but yeah, I think I could have. Yeah.
Okay, so what is the scout? If you had to do a scouting report on yourself as a player, what would it say?
Not nearly good enough to play here now.
Were you gritty? Like, what do you bring to the
gritty.
table?
I was gritty. I was a goalie. I don't know if you knew that about me.
I did not know that.
So I was a gritty goalie, but
do you do? Never mind.
Yeah.
Those stretches that have gone viral
I used to be able
on
to do the
TikTok.
splits.
Okay.
Yes, I did. But I can't anymore. Not even close. Yeah, no, I mean, that's the honest truth. Like, we've built a great program here that NHL draft picks and kids that are now playing in the National Hockey League. Josh Stone just signed a new 7-year, $7 million contract with the Buffalo Sabres. So it's happening, and I have no issue saying I was nowhere close to good enough to playing for us.
So you built the tradition.
Yep.
You say that.
Yeah.
Be the tradition.
Be the tradition.
And I want to get back to women's basketball tradition and put it in its rightful place once again. What advice would you have as I do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's finding that niche, right? And Charlie did such a great job here and did so many good things. It's going back to what worked and then enhancing it, making it even better, you know. And that's what we, you asked Willie that question, why Arizona State baseball for us? Be the tradition is our mantra. We're completely opposite, where we're pretty much brand new, right? We're just in our second year in a conference ever. We were an independent program playing out of a 700-seat ice rink for 8 years, and we have this new Taj Mahal that we're used to now with the league. And you get to come to Arizona State, and you get to set the standard. You get to do things here that have never been done before. That's what Be the Tradition is, right? So we're trying to build that great tradition that ASU baseball and ASU women's basketball has, and that's our mantra.
So what do you want other programs to feel when they see ASU on the schedule, Mullet Arena? How should other programs feel?
I want them to be scared. I want them to be not excited to play us. I want to be a very hard team to play against, where you got to earn every inch, and that's always the goal.
How fast would Coach Greg bench player Greg?
Oh, gosh. That's a really good question. It all depends on his attitude and effort, right? And,
what was it like? What were your antics?
I didn't really have antics. I think I worked hard, and I still work hard, and that's probably why I'm at where I'm at. But yeah, I don't know if I would have liked to coach me. I don't know.
Because you're both really competitive.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Hard-headed.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all right. What's it called? I've always wondered. You know, like when you get tangled up with a bat, it's a jump ball. Is there a jump
Face
puck?
Off? Face off.
So when it is currently being lodged,
right?
What, like they say, jump ball?
Yeah.
What's it called before the face-off?
Well, the linesmen are supposed to just drop it. They rarely just drop it. Like, it's really annoying, and they kick the centers out. But they're supposed to just get in, drop it, and then it's just a battle of will. You know, may the best man win the puck, and you got to start with possession. You want to start with possession, just like when, you know, you're jumping for a ball, and face-offs are a huge part of the game. It's because you want to start with possession every chance you get.
Okay, give us some insight. What does a practice plan look like? Because I guess it didn't click. It should have, but you're out on there on the skates. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
You look like one of the players out there skating around. Like, I love that. But what's the practice plan typically look like?
Well, so hockey's, to break hockey down, there's 3 zones. You have your defensive zone, neutral zone, which is the middle of the ice, and then the offensive zone. So our systems is, you know, you have to tie all that together, and so we work on something different every day. Every day is themed. Tomorrow is all about defensive zone, right? We were really bad in our D zone this weekend against probably the best team in the country. They exposed a lot of things. They made us better. So tomorrow's focus is all D zone, positioning, and return to D zone. So when you come back into your zone and the other team has the puck, you have to return to very specific spots in your D zone and protect the middle of the ice and force them to the outside. And we did a really poor job of that last weekend. So that's what tomorrow's looks like.
Should I come or no?
You can come, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could talk about making 50-50 pucks 100% ours.
There you go. I love it. Okay, so what are the Gregisms that the team hears often?
I think the biggest one this year is we have proven we're very young. It's the youngest team I've ever had. We've proven we're incredibly capable, right? We're capable. We have 5 wins against top 10 teams, but we're not willing every day. There's a difference, right? So it doesn't matter what you're capable of. You can have all the talent in the world. You can have, whatever you want. But if you're not willing to do what it takes every single day, every practice, every rep, every shift, whatever, it doesn't matter what you're capable of. So it's all about getting kids to buy into being willing to do whatever it takes for the greater good.
How? Because days do become kind of rinse and repeat, a
Yep.
little monotonous. So how do you keep your players engaged and excited about doing the little things and showing up maybe when they don't want to?
It's hard. I mean, we have the longest team season out of any sport. We start when school starts and we go really to April. So it's a really long season. So you have to be really selective about how much they hear your voice, and so you don't fall on deaf ears. So it's just coming up with new ways to do things and having fun. Mostly that's the biggest focus is I want, when our guys walk through the door every day, I want that to be the best part of their day, right? I want to have fun. I want them excited to be at the rink, and you have to come up with different ways in order to make that happen.
I'd play for you, Coach.
I would appreciate that. I'd play for you too.
All right. We make a good team. Last one, same thing that I asked Willie. I've experienced it in my 10 months here. What makes this place so special to you?
I mean, obviously I'm an alum. I went to school here. I love this place. This is the only place I'd ever want to be. Started the program, built the program, but I love ASU athletics so much. Like, I was a season ticket holder long before I was a coach for football, baseball. It's just a special place. It's always going to be to me. It's where I met my wife. It's where, I'm here because of I raised my family here. They're Sun Devils. We bleed it, in every way.
It's awesome. How we do, Jeff?
You did great. You did great. Me now? Okay. First of all, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
This guy
Appreciate
he is pretty special.
Round
So
of
is
applause
Willie.
for Powers.
Absolutely. And, Coach, you did great. I think Wednesday night on the radio pregame, I'll let you interview yourself, and I'll just stay out of the way.
That would be harder. I mean, they're great.
You have a future. You do. We should
This doesn't
make a
work out.
podcast.
Yeah, so tune in next week for In the Huddle with Molly Miller and Molly Miller. That'll be here. No, I'm kidding. Join us here at Blanco on Monday evening. We want to see you at Desert Financial, if you're listening to us on the radio, on Wednesday evening against that team and Sunday against Kansas State. Seriously, thank you both. Thanks to Willie Bloomquist, to Amaya Williams, to POA, and we'll see you next week on In the Huddle with Molly Miller on the Sun Devil Radio Network.
In the Big 12, it's up for grabs, and anybody can go and get it.
Who wouldn't want to watch this team play?
Tickets at thesundevils.com. Get on the website right now and get them.